Welcome back everyone to episode 4 of the VFR rebuild series. I know it's been a while since my last episode, so here's a quick recap. In the last episode, I removed some rust, cleaned an old air filter, and got the original airbox looking brand new. I removed the front wheel and unfroze the front brakes. I also cleaned and lubricated the left-hand controls, changed out the very dirty oil, and replaced with a new OEM filter and Rotella T6 oil. And also I replaced the broken coolant reservoir and installed a new to me fuel pump before the bike started leaking gas everywhere. Fun. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on to the episode. Feeling a bit defeated, I removed the gas tank off camera and decided to set my sights onto the tail fairing instead. First I removed the 2 grab handles, which was pretty easy, just removed them with the Allen key, and then a few easy bolts to spin right off. And finally, the connectors that held the tail light on were actually the hardest part. Luckily, some persuasion from a screwdriver and they popped right off. And now we can remove the tail fairing. It simply spreads apart and lifts right off. And now we have a good view of it, all the guts underneath the fairing. Don't worry, I'm going to clean that all off camera. Anyway, back to the fuel pump. It looks like the gasket got crimped probably during installation. Oh well, I went ahead and ordered a new gasket, and now I have the fun task of taking the entire thing apart in order to replace it. The fuel pump is not a fun thing to take apart, but overall it's not too bad, just a lot of random little pieces. Having this video to reference how everything goes back together is a nice resource to have. Compared to the old one. Yeah. Look how mangled the side is over here. Yeah, no wonder it leaked, huh? Now that's done. We got our gasket on there, and hopefully this will go in the tank a lot smoother than the first time, and hopefully this pump works, because I honestly have no idea and I'm a little worried now. Alright, so I got the VFR kind of cleaned up back here, as you can see. Really did a good job just wiping everything down with WD-40. Obviously you're not going to clean up some of these spots, but that's normal. These black plastics I hit with some silicone. It kind of made the black come back, but as you can see right here, it's starting to fade again. I mean, there's not a huge difference between this side and this side. It might look a little better, but not much. So this is eventually going to come off and get painted or heat gun treatment, something. I'm going to try to see if I can restore this black. But the bike itself looks actually pretty clean, save for the wheels that are all chipped and some things that need to be painted. I might remove these and just hit these with some silver. Just kind of make it look nice again. The engine itself, you can paint that too. I might do that. But overall, not bad. The forks are definitely nasty. And of course, you got the fairings, the front hugger, and the rest of the fairings are just totally sun-beaten. But yeah, we got water in the system. It's getting kind of cold out, so we're going to have to proceed with this bike real soon because I don't want that water to freeze. I think I got another couple weeks before that happens, though. But here's the bike. I put it out here because I'm hoping I can start it soon. As you can see over here, I just torqued up the fuel pump. I got the new gasket on it. I looked all along the side. I don't see it pinched or anything anywhere. And we're gonna try to reinstall this fuel tank, add a little bit of fuel this time, not too much, and see if it leaks. And if it leaks, I'm I don't know. I'll have to do something else, but I couldn't get this fuel pump to prime on the bench. Now, I wasn't able to do this one or the other one, so I don't know if it's something with the bench environment. Moment of truth. Does it leak? We're only adding a little bit. Oh, there it is. It's leaking. What the f— I ended up fixing this completely off camera. What the problem was is I must have over tightened the fuel pump bolts the first time I tightened them, since I didn't use a torque wrench. Rookie mistake, I know, but with the assistance of a pair of pliers and a microfiber cloth, I was able to bend the tank around the fuel pump hole to make it straight again, and then reinstall the fuel pump, and finally the tank is not leaking anymore. Anyway, let's see what happens next. I'm going to attempt to start it. I am so flippin' nervous. Okay. I heard it prime. It ran. You're not gonna believe it, but I don't think this is gas. I think this is water. Water coming out of the exhaust. Yeah, I think there's water in this exhaust. I think that's what that was. Because it's only wet underneath the exhaust, nowhere else above it. And this does not smell like gas. Let's start it again, see what happens. That's just water coming out of the exhaust. Oh, look at this, guys, it's running. Listen to those gear-driven cams, guys. Listen to it. Look at these forks, by the way. Forks are like brand new now. Wow, all that's left is aesthetics. I'm gonna let this warm up completely, then cool down, then I'm gonna drain out the water, add in antifreeze. We're good. Keep an eye on the temperature. 98, I'm gonna let this warm up fully. Alright, I'm gonna let it die here. I let it run for about 10-15 minutes. Didn't even get that hot. 200 degrees is the hottest I can get it. Sounds pretty good even with this Two Brothers. Sounds pretty good though. Hard to make a V4 sound bad. Now all that's left really is tires, flushing out the coolant, flushing out the water and adding coolant rather, bolting down the gas tank, painting everything, getting all the aesthetics done, putting the seat back on, reconnecting everything, diagnosing a couple wiring issues or electrical issues, like for instance the headlights, the high beam doesn't work, making sure the turn signals are working correctly, restore some of the faded plastics. Everything looks pretty good though. Yeah, overall, very, very happy with this. I am so relieved that I got this thing running, that I got this thing good to go. I'm just so happy. I was getting a little discouraged when it was like one thing after the other. But man, we made some good progress. The last thing I want to do before I end this video is drain out all the water and replace it with coolant. I filmed most of this back in October, so it was getting colder and colder outside, and because the VFR lives in the shed, it is subjected to freezing temperatures during the winter. and the last thing I need is for the water to freeze inside this engine and completely ruin everything. So getting this stuff out of here right away is top priority. I picked up this cheap coolant from my local Walmart for around $10. Yes, the bottle doesn't say Honda on it, but it does say it contains ethylene glycol and rust inhibitors, so that's good enough for me. I'm trying to stay cheap on this project, well, as cheap as I reasonably can, so why not? Wait, choke. Alright, so quick update on the VFR800. Apparently, it's leaking gas again. I know, I can hardly believe it, but it's leaking gas. And you can see right here, that's the joiner between the overflow. There's two hoses that come together. So anyway, that's not this is the vent hose, but the overflow hose it's leaking out of there. So if I show you guys real quick inside of here, see that? I don't know if you can see in there. That is completely clogged up. And this liquid you see is Marvel Mystery Oil. If you look in here, see how it's not full, the gas? That's how much leaked out. Basically what I think is happening is this overflow tube has a hole in it. And that hole is letting gas in. So gas, basically to this level, about an inch underneath the lip, is leaking through the overflow and causing a leak. So naturally the question becomes, well, what do you do to deal with that? I'll tell you what you do to deal with that. You buy a new tank.
Sick news, pull your little arrows out. Let me live my life, the one I'd better lead. All the plans of fantasies, and we looked at them 11 ways. You said, look at me.